My name is Rhapsody, and welcome back to Hearthstone Ranked, where it is a new season. And therefore, we're ranked 20 again? Oh boy. Alright, so we're gonna have to go with a deck that is quicker to progress through the ranks, right? We want to get back up to something normal, and then work from there. So, I have this deck here, which I have neglected to, up until this point, name, because I'm an idiot. So let's do that now. I'm a piece of it's gonna be Mech Hunter, Hunter Mech, Mech Hunter, no. Huntech. Alright, done. I'm not proud of the name, or the deck. Basically, it is a Death Rattle Mech Hunter deck, right? So, all of the trash that I've been talking about, you know, Hunters, and Death Rattle decks, and Mech decks, I'm gonna combine all of that, and become that which I have hated so much. Now, the reason for this is because it's basically an economy of time thing, right? If I play a strong control deck, like my, it's currently named Trump Control, but that's an old name for it. The Warrior Control deck that I have sitting there ready. If I play something like that, the games are going to take, you know, maybe 10, 15 turns each. Whereas if I play this, the games will often be shorter, so I'll be able to progress a little faster up and down the ranks. Undertaker is obviously a keep, the rest of it goes back. He says, as he almost accidentally throws back the Undertaker. Whoops. I've only had this happen twice or so. But getting Mech Warper into Coin Mech Warper into Annoyatron is... it's absurd. Okay, so... the interesting thing here is that, as a Druid deck, most often the only removal he's going to have for the Undertaker is Wrath. So if I want to play Annoyatron to try and defend the Undertaker, I'm not really going to be doing anything. So instead, I'll play the Haunted Creeper, get the damage in. And then next turn I can develop Mech Warper and Annoyatron on the same turn. Because obviously, like, if I put up a taunt, I'm not protecting it against the spell, Wrath. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm still okay with what I've done, because it means that Mech Warper and Annoyatron are actually going to be protecting things. So, you can see that basically this deck is about being a right bastard. After this match, I'll quickly just go through and I'll talk about each of the individual cards. I forgot, this is probably supposed to be a Decksplanation video. Swipe? Yep, that's fine. Expected as much. Do I Metal Tooth Leaper this early? No.
Can I help you, sir?
Not yet. Now, this deck is very centric on the Metal Tooth Leaper. Battle Cry, give your other mechs +2 attack, right? So you get 3 mechs out, kind of like what I've got now, and then you push 6 damage suddenly. One of the biggest problems that I am currently having is the fact that I don't have many beasts to actually trigger my kill commands. Excellent. Okay, so Clockwork Gnome. Play that. Attack. Okay. See, I really wanted to throw at least one of these cards out of my hand so that I would have a, you know, I'd draw 2 cards from Jeeves rather than just the one. But using it for 3 damage, not so certain how I feel about that. Okay. Well, what would I attack it with if I was going to attack it? Let's calculate our damage, shall we? This is 10. This is 9. So, this is... Whoa, shit, I have lethal. Was not even considering that possibility. Not only do I have lethal, I have very lethal. Well played. So obviously that was a druid deck all based around sustainability. I mean, it had a healing touch in... fuck. Okay, so there's a fly that has been flying... No, let's get serious for a fucking second. There's been a fly that's been flying around this fucking room for 4 days. I have used 2 cans of fly spray to try and kill this motherfucker, and he's still alive! 2 days ago, it was funny. Today, not so much. Today, I'm just salted that the motherfucker is still alive. There is not enough room in this room for the 2 of us. Alright, let's talk about the deck. Huntech, right? So there'll be a link to the deck list down in the description below. You don't need to pause the screen right now. Anyway. What is it? Death Rattle, Mech, Beast, Hunter, face damage, synergy deck. A lot of the really important things about this deck are... Anytime I stop talking and I'm just fucking staring off into the distance, it means that that fly has just landed somewhere. And I'm getting vaguely suicidal. Okay, so... The Clockwork Gnomes are really important because spare parts are absolutely amazing. Usually more powerful than 2 damage, although the Leper Gnome is there, again, for the buff on the Undertaker. So I've got 6 cards in the early game on 1-drops that are buffs for the Undertaker, and then I've got Haunted Creeper and Harvest Golem also in that. And Piloted Shredder, but usually by the time the Piloted Shredder comes out, the Undertaker is dead. So, we've got a lot of mech cards in here. We've got Clockwork Gnome, we've got Annoyatron, Mech Warper, Micro Machine. The thing is, if I get 2 Mech Warpers out, I can basically flood the board with every single mech that I have, except for the super expensive ones. And even the super expensive ones cost less than half of the mana you have at the very end of the game, right? The Metal Tooth Leapers are really good in conglomeration with the Annoyatrons, because the Annoyatrons go up to a, what, I think it's, it's 3-2 with Divine Shield. So it's really hard to remove them without taking an incredible amount of damage. And usually the Annoyatrons come out off the back of like a turn 3 play with a Mech Warper, like Mech Warper and then Annoyatron for 1, or something similar to that. The Micro Machines go out of fucking control if your opponent doesn't have direct removal for them. And that's the thing, this deck asks for so much direct removal from your opponent. Your opponent has to make sure that your Undertakers die really early, then that your Mech Warpers die so you can't summon things really quickly, then that your Micro Machines die so that you don't go out of control, then that your Jeeves dies so that you don't draw infinite cards. And here's the ultimate crux of the deck. So many of these minions just stick to the fucking board, right? Web Spinner has a Death Rattle effect, add a random beast card to your hand. It might as well be, Death Rattle summon XX beast, right? Because usually you're just running out all of the cards in your hand the next turn. Annoyatron has Divine Shield, sticks to the board like a motherfucker. Haunted Creeper summons 2 1/1s. Harvest Golem summons a 2/1, right? And it itself is also a mech. Then Piloted Shredder does something very similar, although it's a random 2-cost minion. So many times I've got Millhouse Mana Storm out of that and just, hey, Millhouse Mana Storm. It's beautiful because it's really hard for your opponent to remove all of your threats. And even if they can, you can generate so many more so quickly that you can just force the game to end. So, yeah, Clockwork Gnome, Death Rattle synergy, same with the Leper Gnome. Also, this pushes damage, this gives you versatility. Undertaker is one of the cruxes of the deck, it's like one of the underpinnings. Web Spinner is basically a buff for the Undertaker, and it's also a beast card to trigger your kill commands. Glaive Zuka, give a random friendly minion +1 attack. When you play this, you're usually playing it early enough to have it buff a Web Spinner, so you can use the Web Spinner as a consistent 2-1 damage, and use the Glaive Zuka to remove your opponent's threats, or your opponent's board. So that's really good, and against aggressive decks, it allows you to get great trades. Annoyatron, obviously I've already spoken about, Haunted Creeper similarly, again, it's a beast for the kill command synergy. Mech Warper, Animal Companion is just really solid, always really solid in Hunter decks, and it's beast synergy as well. Kill commands, obviously face damage, most often, sometime big dude removal. Piloted Shredder sticks to the board, Jeeves, card draw, Metal Tooth Leaper, mech synergy, right? It's fairly self-explanatory, this deck. There isn't really an incredible amount of depth to it, which is why everyone fucking hates people that play this deck. I hate people that play this deck. I hate people that play Hunter in general, except for the Control Hunters, because right on, you guys. feel like an absolute piece of Alright, so we're gonna go into the next match. And we're gonna have a grand old time with it. All I really want to do is, like, rush myself to where I was in the previous season. So, rank 14. And then start to play actually respectable decks.
Begin. I will hunt you down.
I don't have a good enough early game to hold on to that type of stuff. This is shit. I've only probably played about 10 or 20 games with this deck. This is probably one of the worst opening hands I've had in that entire time. Looks like the Metal Tooth Leaper, at the very least, when it is played, will likely be able to buff Harvest Golem or the Damage Golem. Oh! You are a... You're a... that deck. Control. You don't wait until turn 2 to play anything if you're not a control deck, right? You've got Undertaker, Haunted Creepers, you are not a control deck. Why are you not a control deck? Well, okay, so... I guess I try and ignore it? But then he can kill my Micro Machine. See, I can make this attack, it summons Explosive Trap, Snake Trap, or Freezing Trap, right? And all of those are really bad for me. Or I can roll the die on this. No. I want to summon the Harvest Golem. Which means that I make this attack first, and then trade. You might notice in my deck there's absolutely no secrets. It's one good thing about it. You don't have your opponent constantly like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that though? Alright, so there is an explosive and a freezing trap though. You don't play Snake Trap on turn 3. So now it's about whether the explosive trap or the freezing trap was first. So I'm gonna guess that the freezing trap was first. Because if it was, I'll just get this back to my hand. Whereas if it wasn't first, then it'll blow up. So Freezing Trap comes back to my hand. Triggers the Explosive Trap on a board that survives against the Explosive Trap, right? So that was the plan there. And then I'll play that plus Metal Tooth Leaper in order to push damage. So... this is an aggression deck, so unless you have the other explosive trap in your hand, although most of these decks run one explosive trap I've seen, yeah, there's no way I'm trading for that. I'm going straight for the face. So, Animal Companion, brilliant. Mana-wise, it's more worth my time to use that. And this, welcome to the end of the game, right? Like, this is basically it. I can't see... I mean, Sludge Belcher would probably be annoying. Yeah, well played.
Well played.
So, I just want each and every one of you to know, if you're looking at this deck like, oh, I'm gonna play this deck. Don't. You piece of shit, don't you fucking dare. I shouldn't be doing this. I am going to hate myself for the fact that I've done this. I'm gonna upload these videos, and then I'm gonna have to see comments like, you have become what you have hated the most. And then I'll just, like, my soul will shrink 3 times. Don't play the deck. Don't do it. It's bad for you. Clavezuker is really good early. Okay, so I'm gonna have to assume this is Control Warrior, which means that Clavezuker is not important early because I want to be able to develop 3 threats on turn. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so here's a really interesting thing. Do I play Undertaker on turn 1 and run up against the possibility that my opponent has a Fiery War Axe? Because I could lose the game this turn, right? If I Undertaker, coin Leponome or something like that, I could just lose the game to Fiery War Axe hit. But if you Fiery War Axe, because you don't have the coin, that means you kill the Undertaker, but then your Undertaker dies to my Leper Gnome and I have more face damage push. Okay, so this is actually correct. And Clockwork Gnome because I want the versatility of cards more. If I get to next turn with my Undertaker alive, the game is basically over. That's why I said that's such an important decision. And the game's over. Oh my god! Why would you make that attack? Oh. Honey. You feeling okay? So then I've got a Harvest Golem next turn for a Death Rattle, or I've got a Haunted Creeper plus whatever I draw for 2 Death Rattles, possibly.
Something needs tinkering?
Oh. How dare you tinker in my presence? That's probably going to draw the Emergency Coolant, which means that I'm going to play the Haunted Creeper. This attacks so I can push as much damage as possible. Wait, what? Do I not get... Oh, it's a Leper Gnome. I thought that was a... Whoops. So this also means that my Undertaker is safe from Death's Bite this turn. Which is really good. Okay. That was from the top deck. It doesn't matter which you hit. I just need kill command. Okay, so it looks like my opponent has a, you know, as much of an aggressive deck as I do, so I feel less bad about trying to beat them with an aggressive deck. Since it is mech synergy, I have to assume that this is... that this deck is running Screwjank Clonker. Wow, am I actually going to lose here? Okay, so that's good. So, these two go here, that goes that. Then, Undertaker, Clockwork, Gnome, Harvest Golem. I really need a Jeeves, but the thing is, against aggressive decks, the matchup is as such that if you play a Jeeves, your opponent is going to benefit from it as well. I mean, look! Look at my opponent's hand! They're going to benefit from these Jeeves. Okay. You can draw a total of 2 cards. There's no way you're getting more than that. So I guess at this point I can't trade for value. I need to go for face. So my assumption would be if you desperately need cards, Ironbeak Out goes here, and then Annoyatron goes here. Oh, dude, if you attack past, really, you're only gonna get 1 card now. Okay. Attack happens first. Second. So Slam, Cleave, Fiery War Axe. Do I believe that that is Slam, Cleave, or Fiery War Axe, or do I believe that Slam, Cleave, or Fiery War Axe are coming up in the next card? If so, if I think it's going to be Slam, Cleave, or Fiery War Axe, if I think it's Fiery War Axe, I buff the Undertaker. If I think it's going to be Slam or Cleave, I buff the Micro Machine. I think because I actually have no clue what it is going to be, if anything, I can't do anything. Funny story, I am seeing a blinking light on my phone, which is over there charging the background. I've just realized I'm meant to be somewhere.
Mind if I roll need?
This happens to me way too often, where there's the Fiery fucking War Axe I was talking about. Piece of shit. Anyway, this happens to me way too often where I realize I'm supposed to be somewhere now, aren't I? Whoops. Please give me Misha. Taunt.
To my side.
Okay, so I'm going to armor plate this because it means that my opponent is going to have to use the Fiery War Axe to kill it. And then I can't afford to stop to give him a card. I just need to push face damage. So I wonder if my opponent's deck here is playing the shield block, right? As an anti-aggression type thing. I guess we'll just see, right? Armoring up before making the attack is probably wrong, depending on whether these two are expensive enough to not be able to play together. Okay. And well played.
Well played.
No attack saves him. So that's 3 matches, right? Like, and now we're on a win streak. Yeah. I'm a piece of trash. Alright, tune in next time when I continue to be an absolute piece of trash. My name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Hearthstone. We've been playing ranked with the Huntech, Death Rattle, Hunter, Beast, Mech Synergy deck. You'll be able to find a link to the deck list in the description down below. Don't play it. At all. It will ruin your karma. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourself. If you have, please click like. It does help me get my content out to new people. There's also playlists in the description down below if you've missed an episode of this, Arena, or Adventures, or if you just want to watch another one again. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourself, and we'll see you next time.